All right, let's get started with a digital input. I think that the simplest digital input sketch that we can look at is with a button. This is sometimes called a momentary button, and that's because it is sort of either on or off. And I'll put this up to the mic. I hope you can hear that very satisfying click. Uh, this is a simple on-off switch. So in digital parlance, that's high, low, high, low. The way this works electrically. Oh, wait a second. I think 311 is on again. Bye. Okay. No more 311. Back to the buttons. Electrically, this component is connected on sort of two sides all the time. There's a wire essentially passing between these two pins at all times and passing between these two pins at all times. So we want to be sure that we're separating those two pins on a breadboard in that orientation, which is that orientation, so that they are electrically separated into two different rows. And what happens when we depress the button is it is connecting those two sides. So that was connecting the sides, disconnected, etc. So our code, let's go into Arduino, File, Examples, still digital, and there's button. Okay, all the usual stuff so far. Let's scroll down and find our tutorial information for a parts list. What do we need? We have an Arduino board. We have that momentary button or switch, a breadboard, hookup wires, and we need a 10K ohm resistor. So let's go back to our super cool book of resistors. Let's see, 10Ks are on to my left on the bottom row. So I'm going to pluck one of those out and just set it aside. Love that thing. Okay, let's go down to the circuit design and blow this up a little bit. All right, so we've got the button, and I just described it needs to be electrically connected in those two rows across the middle of the breadboard. Here's our 10K ohm resistor. We've got a wire going to the ground rail on the breadboard on one side of the resistor. The other side of the resistor goes into one side of the button. Out of that button goes another wire connected to digital pin 2. The other side of the button is wired to the positive or voltage side of the breadboard, and in this case the breadboard is wired into the Arduino from the power pins over here. So let's get that set up. Let's start with our power pins and get the breadboard powered. I'm going to use green again as my ground wire that goes into the negative rail of the Arduino. There's another view of that if that's helpful. That's ground to negative. And I'm going to go from my 5-volt pin, 5V, into the power rail on the breadboard. A couple different views of that. Okay? Now, I'm going to place my button out here. I'm going to jump over to check my circuit. I'll place my button kind of close to where those are at and make sure that the electrical connection is lined up and separated properly. And your pins should be spaced perfectly for that button to snap into the breadboard quite firmly. So let's see, back to my reference image. Now I want to connect power to one side and nothing else to the button. Let's just do that. That's the simple one. I'm going to reduce the visual noise here by using this tiny little jumper wire. So you can make these by cutting some solid wire and just stripping the covering or the casing off of the end of it a little bit. If you're like me and you're going to do a lot of projects in this arena, you might spring for one of these kits. It has a bunch of pre-cut, pre-stripped various lengths of various colors of tons of jumper wires. Look it up, Google it. Okay, back to my breadboard. This is going to be some really tiny stuff. I'm going to make sure that this side, there we go. Hold this up so you can see that. So I've got one pin of my button, one side of my button, wired directly into the positive voltage electrical rail on the breadboard. And back to my reference image, I'm going to put the resistor next to the other pin. Again, this is really small stuff. These wires will sometimes fold and flex, and you will develop a touch for getting them connected just right. It's a better view. You can see that tiny little wire, and I've arbitrarily put that in a pin off to the side. Back to my reference image. I need to take the other side of that resistor and connect it to the ground rail. I've got one of my super fancy little tiny jumper wires here again. And jump that resistor into the ground circuit. There's another view of that, if that helps. Okay, looking good so far. Back to my reference image. I want to connect the same side of the button, opposite side of the breadboard, same side as the resistor, from there into digital pin 2. And I'm going to use, as I said before, I'm going to use a yellow wire. I like yellow for signal. I don't know why, but I've always done it. I'm not going to stop now, not even for you. Into 2. Close up look at that. And that is on the side of the button that is same side as the resistor, which is connected to ground. Okay. So if I did this right, I go back to my software. Hopefully this just works. And we'll look at the code in a minute. Let's just try uploading the code and see what happens. Hopefully the Arduino is happy this time. Seems to be working. There's my transmit and receive. Okay, so if I press the button, what do I notice? Aha, my built-in LED is in fact turning on with a button press. So this is digital input. Let's talk about what's happening a little bit in the circuit to explain it on the electrical level without over-explaining. Essentially, we're running power here to the breadboard, and we're running power to the button. What's happening inside the button is it's hooked up to a very useful general circuit that we'll call a pull-down resistor. And don't let the technicality of any terms get you down too much, but this pull-down resistor, what it's doing is it's electrically connecting the button to ground as a default. And when we press the button down, what it's doing is letting that positive voltage pass from this side, the power side, through the circuit in sort of a crisscross, out the other side of the button, other set of pins, and it is running that 5-volt electrical signal through the yellow wire as an input on pin 2. So now this little brain is actually doing more work than just turning things on and off. It's sort of saying, when I see voltage come into pin 2, I am going to send voltage out of pin 13. All right? Simple as that on the hardware side. Let's take a look at the software side. Okay. This is a constant. There's a note here that says constant won't change. They're used here to set pin numbers. As you saw in the blink code, I didn't set my variable as a constant integer. I just set it as an integer, and works fine. We'll cross these bridges when we get there. But it's saying the integer called button pin is going to pin number 2. So this is the number of the push button pin, and the LED pin is 13. So here we're defining LED pin as 13 rather than using the built-in variable LED built-in. A variable that changes. So this is interesting. We're looking at a variable that says, I want to watch the button state, and I want to initialize that button state as 0. And this is just a way, when I say initialize, this is just a placeholder. We're not making use of it yet. We're just establishing it as a variable so that we can use it inside of the actual loop code. Let's look at the setup. LED pin output, we saw that from the blink sketch. It's just saying, okay, the LED pin, which again is 13, is an output in this code. And similarly, we want to say that the pin mode for the button pin, which is 2, is an input. That is our digital input. What's happening in the loop? Aha! So, button state, which is this variable that we initialized, brought to the world up here as a global variable, is just equal to a value. When the code starts, we want to digital read, and this is an input function, the button pin. The button pin is starting at 0. When we press the button, it is going to a value of 1. And we'll look at a little bit later how we can write a little piece of code to help us visualize that with what we call the serial monitor. But for this code, let's just stick with understanding the circuit as it relates to the code. Now, this is a conditional statement, an if statement. So think of it as if then, or in this case, if else. Let's do this in English. It's saying if the button isn't pressed, or I'm sorry, if the button is pressed, turn the LED on, or digital write LED pin high. Else, that means under any other condition, the button is not pressed, digital write LED pin low. And that's the whole loop. All it's saying is read, digital read the button pin. If it's turned on or high, turn on the LED. Else, under any other conditions, leave the LED off. This is your first example of a digital input. Now, as practice, there's a couple of things you can do. Try moving the LED onto the breadboard, the LED that you used for the blink code, and wire the circuit or the Arduino into an external LED. Then as another challenge, this is rehashing what we covered in digital input, try moving which pin the digital output is on. Change it from pin 13 to pin whatever. Last but not least, another word about variables. They can be called pretty much whatever you want. They just need to be called something that typically makes sense. Now, if you know me, you know that my naming conventions are dumb. Sometimes they're just dumb. But I get a kick out of it. I don't know why. It's, for some reason, a way to torture others and myself. But I want to point out that we can call pin 13 anything we want. The name here is showing up in black text because it's not used anywhere else in the code. It doesn't already belong to the Arduino language. I can't say if because the word if is taken, but you can scour the Arduino language for days and there's no Steve. All I need to do then is go back through the code and say, all right, every time I'm making a reference to pin 13, I need to call it Steve. It's not LED pin anymore. It's Steve. Where else are you, Steve? Steve, when we press your button, you get high. And when we don't, you don't. Let's upload it just to prove to you that Steve is a fully functional variable. Transmit and receive. Good job, Steve. That is digital input.